Okay, welcome back. We are here with our our troll, um, and what we're going to do here is we've got our high definition or high resolution one here. On layer 2, we have our baked troll here on layer 1. So we turn off our normals here. We're sitting on 3,300. So, if I have a budget of, up to 5, 6, 7,000, so I can add in quite a bit more here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, but we'll just have a look at a couple of reference images here. So for armor and accessories for trolls. So this is interesting, but too detailed. Good for drawing, but not for something we could play with. We have to be careful not to make too complex accessories, things that are going to, this chain's going to move, these are going to move, all these things are going to move independently as you walk. So there'll be an awful lot of extra additional animation. You don't want potential for things intersecting with each other, like the chain bobbing into his leg, etc. So this is the other side of it. It's a bit too simplistic, although this obviously isn't textured yet. Actually, I like the idea in some of that. And yeah, let's go with that one. Then this is really cool, but quite elaborate in a way, and very specific to this type of model. I like the idea of having a shield. I like these sort of gree or these kind of things on the upper arm, and I like the shoulder pads on this guy. So I'll probably make something similar to this, and similar to these here. I like the idea of something bigger on the outside and straps underneath. So we'll start having a go at that. You're kind of using this guy here as a decent template. So I'm going to make a new object, a cube, and I am going to call this armor 1, and I am going to go to my modifier stack and add a mirror modifier. I'm going to go into edit mode, W, merge at center, G, I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to turn on what we used before, which is my snap to face. So I'm going to go G, and you can see that when I do that, I've got an orange circle around my vert indicating that it's on the face. So I'm going to extrude this and basically make something that goes around the arm. Now, how many verts should I have? Well, not a huge number, but enough to get around the model. So I've turned into solid mode here. And the reasons for that should be fairly self-explanatory, so I can see everything. I'm going to hit F, so I've made one circle there. I could use my, so I could go delete, and instead of doing it that way, I could, with this model selected, go to my retopology tools, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to turn on Rotopoflow and exit out of here. I'm going to go to contours. Yeah, so must be at least solid mode. Contours. And 1, 2. So what I was trying to make by hand, it's made for me very quickly. So we'll now I'm going to delete the faces in between these. So that's happy days. I'll be able to mirror this across as well. So let's go enter and into wireframe mode. Select this here, and we'll call this armor 1. And go into face select, and so what we'll do is we'll just hide this other dude, and I want to select as these guys, and these ones. And delete the faces. Now, what I want to do with this is, apart from setting it to be smooth, I'm going to put a solidify modifier on it. Well, let's just have a look at that and change the thickness. And I can go the other way, so I'm going out, which is what I'd like to do. I'm also going to add a subsurface modifier. Okay. And then I'm going to give it I'm going to turn off matcaps, and I'm going to give it I'm going to call this leather 1, and make it sort of a dark kind of brown color. I'm going to unhide my guy. Again, this here, his origin is here, so if I add a mirror modifier, I'll immediately get this over here. So we've got these guys here, and what's nice is we can, tweak how thick this is going to be. So what I want is I'm going to add in sort of an armor plate that goes along the side of the arm. What I should probably have done, actually, and I might just delete this and go again, is, yeah, so let's do this, let's do it again, because it's not difficult to do. Yeah, I have to select this first, so contours, so we'll go 1, and then I need to rotate it that way, and then 2, and rotate, make this one a bit smaller. Okay, so they're better. So let's go again. So we'll call it armor. Hide him. Select this. Go in and select my faces. And it'll just look better. It won't have the others were at quite an acute angle across the arm. So X, delete faces. Go to tools, hit smooth. Add my mirror modifier. Add my subdivision surface modifier. And add my solidify modifier. Unhide the other guy, and where's my solidify? There we go. And then we can add my texture there. Okay, so that looks a lot better. So I'm going to start with that. Let's just go back to our reference here. So he's got interesting kind of shouldery sort of pads. He's got spikes and stuff. He's also got arm greaves. So arm greaves are always cool. So let's add some arm greaves to this guy here. So we're going to go back to contours, and oops, turn on contours. We draw across here, and here, here, and we go slightly higher up the arm, there. And I do know he has a weird head, so there's my arm greaves there. They look cool. And enter on them. I'm going to call this armor 1. Again, we're going to put on a mirror modifier. Put on a subdivision surface modifier, and we're going to put on a solidify modifier. And we're going to invert the thickness. So it's nice and thick. Go up to tool, set it to be smooth, and we will also give this not the troll material. We want it to have leather. Okay, so we're getting there. So there's my my arm greaves. We'll come back and work on making these a bit more interesting. So let's again go back to our reference here. So we have these kind of shoulder pad kind of area here, and they're held together with this metal. And he's got a helmet on. We'll get to the helmet in a minute, and a shield. We'll get to the shield as well. So again, let's select our mesh. Go back to our retopology tools. Go to contours. So I want to put in just a strap here that's going to hold the shoulder piece on. So let's keep it simple like that. Oops. And I think that's it there. We'll call this armor shoulder. And what did we have one here? This is armor. We'll call this armor upper arm. So they're all sitting together, and that's this armor. So we'll call this armor forearm. So armor shoulder. Okay, so this is again same procedure. We're going to set it to be smooth. We are going to add a mirror modifier. We are going to add a subdivision surface modifier and a solidify modifier, and we are going to negatize that so we can see it, and we are going to give it a material. Okay, so far so good. Now the shoulder piece is going to sit on top of that, so we'll make them in a second. And so we need to give this guy some sort of belt and hide his modesty. So let's go back down here, go back to contours, give him some sort of crooked kind of belt. As well. So we will call this armor waist. Okay. Again, same procedure. We'll give it, since we're sitting here, let's color. We'll set it to be smooth. We'll add a mirror. We don't need the mirror modifier. We do need subdivision surface modifier, and we want a solidify modifier that's negatized. Now we'll end up making this a different color and giving it a bit more character. Now so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my character here. Look at this guy. Now, even though this has sort of thickness, it's only actually got, it's got very little geometry. So it's going to be quite easy to take something like that and extrude it downwards. Let's just do that for a second, and then unhide. Select that again, and okay, and then again we'll work on the definition of that in a bit. So same here at the back, so we will do that, and oop, not so much, and yep. So now I want to take these three and go GY. Yeah, move them out a bit. Okay, so we're getting there. So there's our trolls armored as waist. So we're going to go File, Save As, and we'll call this Troll Stage 9. Okay. Now, so there he is there with all these bits and pieces on him at the moment. And when we apply the solidify modifier, this will add lots of extra geometry, so we'll kind of put in creases and all sorts of stuff here. And we can sculpt this if we wanted and go through the same process, which, you know, if we had time, if this was a AAA game, all of these individual pieces would be sculpted individually, probably by different artists as well. But I do not have the time to do that. You might. So let's go back to this piece here. So I'm going to face select, and I'm going to take these 4 here, and I'm going to extrude them and scale them. And now I'm going to stop at that for a second, and I'm going to apply the solidify modifier. The reason I'm going to do that is because I've got so little geometry here to work with that actually I might be able to get away with that. So I can extrude this to the side and do the same with this. Extrude that to the side. Okay. Now, so we have 3 faces here. And I can extrude this out. Okay. Now I'll make this a bit thinner in a minute so we can get sort of adjacent pieces. Okay. And I'm going to do the same here. Okay. So now let's see if we can take that, and what happens if we scale it on X. It's going to yeah. That has kind of worked. So I'd like another strip here on the inside, and then maybe a flap coming over the top of the shoulder. So let's see if we can make that without having to duplicate. So yeah, so let's take our troll and hide him. Let's take this here, and yeah, so I'm just going to apply this solidify modifier, bite the bullet, and see what we've got. I'm going to delete any doubles I might have, which I don't have any of. So because I have a solidify modifier, I have some problems here. So, okay. So I have geometry inside geometry here that I do not need. I don't know if you can see that. So there's external geometry, and so if I delete this, still the shape is the same on the outside, but I've deleted what's on the inside. So that means I made a mistake when I was making it. So let's see if we can get rid of all of this internal geometry. That'll make our lives much easier when it comes to it. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, that's not that one. That one. So I'm just using the Alt and Shift to select the verts I don't want. Okay. So let's delete them. Okay, that's not too disastrous. And I do not want to delete that. Okay, nearly there. Those two. That one, and that one. And that one, and that one, and that one. Now there's other bits and pieces I can get rid of in here. I don't need that, or 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 that. Okay, so now, yeah, so I'll hide this guy again. What I do want, so I'll actually change the color of this, make it a bit brighter, so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this inside here. Now, I could extrude out from that, but what I actually want is I'm going to go Control-R, make a loop cut, and Control-R, make a second loop cut. And now I've made more geometry, but I've also made my life a bit easier. So I'm not going to take this very last one, and I'm going to extrude again, and then scale on Z. Actually, no, I'm just going to scale in general. And I'm going to move a tiny bit on X, and then extrude again, and do that. Now, let's see where that gets us. I'm going to, so, okay, it's not too bad. I'm going to have to fix this end bit here. It's a bit, it should probably end above that, but we'll worry about that. Set the whole thing to be smooth. And again, we're going to take this here, and I'm going to turn on proportional editing. I'm going to rotate and move this in a little bit, and then extrude, and go turn off proportional editing for this. Scale and extrude again. Rotate, scale it back a tiny bit, and bring that to there. Again, I have to tidy it up here, but that's not too bad. Okay, so now I can bring it back. Okay, so we're not doing too badly. got our arm there. So let's just fix this up here. So there's again we'll change our color, make our lives a bit easier. So I'm going to go into vertex select. And I'm going to select all of these ones here and go delete. And then I need to close these up. So how do I do that? So 1, 2, 3, 4 face. I do it manually. I could just add what's called an n-gon, which is one enormous face across the whole thing, but and that would be fine. That will come back and haunt me though in the future. Just gonna move these, okay, and so again, same here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. That's a face. Move that a little bit, and then I got 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a face. Cut that in half. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. 1, 2, 3. Face. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Face. Okay. Excuse me. Now, what I should be able to do is that there. So I'm adding in a loop cut to sort of make it more or less rounded. So I want a sharper edge. I'll do the same here and here. Now, okay, so we will stop at this point. So we're half an hour in. So we've added in some armor using the contours tool. Some of it's still very basic, but we have a starting point, and we're going to come back in and add a bit more detail to this in the next tutorial.